joys of the life of a diocesan priest is you're very much embedded in people's lives. The parish is located in a community, and so you really get to know the people. So as you get to know the people and you love them, and you see them hungering for God, you see them loving God, you see them struggling, that's the greatest inspiration of all, I would say. Knowing the Lord and then knowing the people that you're assigned to serve. And the people so often inspire the priest. I can't exaggerate that enough. You go anoint somebody who's at the point of death and you see their faith, or you hear someone's confession. Almost every day, the priest, I think if he keeps his eyes open, he's going to be inspired by what he sees, even in the very challenges. It's very rewarding, but it's a spiritual reward. One of the most profound joys, or the greatest joys as a priest, I've found personally, is hearing confessions. Not because we get to hear people's secrets, but to be able to be an instrument of God's mercy, to be the instrument that God uses to take away someone's sins, to free them, to literally help them know that they are a child of God, that they are loved by God, that they're forgiven by God. There's no really human joy that can equal that. We cannot exaggerate how important vocations are, because again, we think of who the priest is, and to understand who the priest is, we think, who is Jesus? He's the Son of God who came to earth to bring us forgiveness of our sins, to give us a divine life. And he gave us the sacraments as encounters with him. So again, it's not just sufficient to read about the Lord in the Bible like he's a historical figure. Jesus is living in his church through the sacraments. And for many of the sacraments, the priest is the instrument of God for the sacraments. So we need vocations, not just to have people to run parishes or to do administrative things. These are very important. But we need priests because we need the sacraments, especially the Eucharist. The people need the life of God. They need the mercy of God. That's why I go back to the joy of giving the sacraments. So vocations are so important because people need Jesus, and the priest is the privileged instrument of Jesus through giving the sacraments. I just want to encourage any man or any young man who's considering a vocation of the priesthood to have the generosity to take the next step. Again, in vocations, it can be scary, but remember, it's not like you're signing your life away. It's not like you're joining the military and you have to commit. You say yes to going to seminary. You say yes to exploring the idea of a vocation. And many men are scared because they're not sure if they're called to be a priest or not. Well, honestly, you can't know until you go to seminary, until the church examines you, until you're in formation. You don't need to know that. You don't need to be sure. But I'd say if there's an inkling in your heart, if there's a desire to do this, I think it's very important to say yes to that. If there's any inkling there, pursue it. Again, we don't know how it's gonna turn out, but say yes to God. He will reward that generosity. I think so many times, say for example, when I've gone to anoint somebody or I've heard somebody's confession, I sort of shudder because I think, what if I had given up? What if I had given up? Which it's very easy to give up. And I'd say this confession may be somebody who had been away from the church for 50 years, or somebody on their deathbed, or even just meeting somebody in the street. And I think, what if I had said no? Or what if I had turned back? Or what if I had, again, given into the 100 good reasons that it might not be the most reasonable thing to become a priest? Well, listen, it wasn't reasonable for the apostles to leave all and follow Jesus Christ, but they're saints, and we have the faith because of these men and these women. So I'd say, be courageous, and you will never regret trying to follow the Lord. Whatever happens, whatever path, the Lord will lead you on.